So today we're going to be talking about my top 5 choices for the top 5 ARs that you can find inside of Warzone. Well, you can't really find them unless you get a custom loadout. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Okay, coming in at the number 5 spot, we have the Kilo Assault Rifle. Now, the idea behind building the weapon this way was to basically keep its long range to mid range lethality intact, but increase our vertical recoil management as much as possible and not lose too much mobility in the process. So we have the monolithic suppressor with the SynGuard Arms 19.8 Prowler barrel alongside a tactical foregrip with 60 round mags and the no stock attachment, basically making this a mobile beast of a... You literally cannot underestimate this weapon at all. So the Kilo, as you can see, boast a ridiculous amount of lethality when it comes to long range and mid range engagements. It will mow through the armor at a moderate pace, but still give you enough damage so that when you do mow through the armor, you're able to just put the targets down and still have enough ammo to keep on for the next target. Coming in at the number 4 position, we have the Task Force variant of the M4A1, and I realize that this is not what everybody's considering the meta build, but this is in fact the best weapon. Well, the best build for the weapon to stay consistent at short to mid range. At long range, I just don't find the M4 consistent enough to put it higher up in the list, and I don't want you running out there with a weapon that is not going to perform well at long range. So looking at the M4 version that we have here, we have the mono suppressor with the FSS 14.5 tac light barrel attached to a tactical foregrip for the underbarrel, 60 round mags and no stock to basically increase our mobility. Now, as you can see, pretty much everything on the weapon stays accurately the same. We lose just a little bit of range and a little bit of control, but I can guarantee you, this thing has no recoil whatsoever. If you use it this exact way, there's no recoil for this weapon, which means up close to mid range, you're just going to dominate with no issues at all. And since you're not running the super meta build where your handling just takes a dump and it takes 5 years to ADS with it, you actually get to aim in faster than a lot of other people. And if you want to, you can take it up a notch and stick on the 9mm Parabellum conversion kit that basically gives it an SMG setup. And I kid you not, this thing is a straight up monster. I'm actually going to drop a video on that pretty soon too. So as you can see, pretty much from close to medium range, this thing is just going to melt people. No question, it'll definitely get the job done for you. But like I was saying, the magazines at long range becomes a real serious issue, and like you can see here, it takes me 2 magazines to melt this man. If I was running 160 round magazine, it would have took the entire magazine. Coming in at the number 3 slot, we have the Widower version of the Scar 17. Going in depth with the weapon, we have the mono suppressor with the forged tac 20-pound barrel attached to a Merc foregrip for the increased range and increased accuracy, still basically giving us virtually 0 recoil. Do not let that mobility stat fool you. I kid you not, this weapon is incredibly mobile for the amount of weight that you have in this weapon. I mean, look at it. You have 30 round mags as well with no stock. Normally when you set the weapon up this way, you basically lose all your mobility, but I was able to configure this weapon in such a way that you not only keep the mobility, but you also gain increased magazine size, plus you have 0 recoil, and you have incredible range and accuracy. This is literally the most underused, underrated assault rifle inside of Warzone, and I bet you you're surprised that this came in at number 3. So with the Scar 17, we have a case of this weapon is just broken at all ranges when used properly. If you kit the weapon the way that I have it kitted and you use it for up close engagements, just know that you're going to need to be able to get your ADS speed. Not even your ADS speed, you just need to be the first one to shoot. If you're the first one to shoot, you're winning the gunfight. There's no question about that. 3 shots to break the armor, 3 shots to kill the person. That's all it takes. As you can see here, even if they're in the gas, 4 or 5 shots. That's it. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have the Golden Dragon version of the AK-47, and I bet you're surprised that this came in at number 2. Well, In depth with the weapon, we have the monolithic suppressor, the 23-inch RPK barrel to basically give us no recoil whatsoever. Now, the real key to making this weapon a straight up melt machine is the fact that it has the 545 by 39mm 30 round AK-74U ammo conversion kit on it. This basically increases your fire rate, lessens the amount of recoil that you have, and since we're running the RPK barrel, we also reduce that recoil even further beyond what the normal reduction was. We slapped on the tac laser to get some more increased recoil control, along with getting our ADS speed back and getting just a little bit of the range increased on top of the weapon. And then we have the skeleton stock to give us as much mobility as possible without actually having any detriment to any other category. And as you can see, the only thing that we're losing is damage. That's the only thing we're losing. This is literally the best weapon inside of Warzone that just to melt through armor. Now, it will not do well at long range. I will not lie about that. It's not going to do well at long range because of the high fire rate. Since it has a high fire rate, it's a lot harder to manage at long range. But up close, mid-range, this is actually the best assault rifle to use. I guarantee you. You will not be upset if you pick this thing up, because you're going to pull the trigger and in 2 seconds the guy is going to be gone. It's unbelievable. So as you can see, the AK-47 is a monster. It is the top dog when we talk about close to mid-range engagements. The high magazine count plus the high fire rate plus the no recoil, you can't top it. Get into a close range engagement with this thing. I dare you. I bet you be coming out upset. Coming in at the #1 spot, and I couldn't be more proud of this weapon, we have the DEATHWING custom version of the Grau 556 assault rifle. Going in depth with the assault rifle, we have the monolithic suppressor, the FSS 26.4-inch Archangel barrel, along with the tac laser to give us just some increased control, a little bit of mobility so that we don't lose anything really. We have increased range and accuracy, along with the 60 round mags, basically to give us more ammo to pump down range so that we can delete more targets before we have to get caught up reloading. And then no stock to give us even more mobility so that we can still move around the map at a decent pace, but still put people down at a decent pace. So, what could possibly be better than an AK-47 that can melt through armor in 2 seconds? Well, it's the Grau 556. Even though it may not melt through the armor as fast enough, this thing is not only good at long range, it's good at mid range, and it's good at close range. In fact, I'm even going as far as to say it is superior in all ranges. This thing puts people to sleep. I'm talking left and right hand to Mike Tyson. Hits you with a haymaker, then an uppercut, and then hits you with an overhead fist and puts you to sleep. When your opponents are just they just doing too much and you need to put them down, grab the Grau 556. It won't let you down. It'll wake them up and put them back to sleep, and it won't even ask why. It just does it consistently, back to back. I converted it to an SMG and it put people to sleep. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're not part of the community already, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.